UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Reuniting with former friends and colleagues is a beautiful experience, but coming together for the betterment of a place that was once called home is another thing. Now today here at Kira College Butiki, the All Boys Association has come together for an annual general meeting and homecoming to restore the former glory that they once possessed. And of course with the first Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of the East African Affairs, Honorable Rebecca Kadaga, as the chief guest to officiate the show. My name is Amuge Victoria and you are welcome to the Education Forum, a show that digests the trends and development in the education sector. Stay tuned. I'm delighted to be joined by the newly recruited head teacher of Kira College Butiki. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, and he goes by the name Moses Semwanga. Now, first and foremost, let's first begin with the background and the history of this beautiful school. Tell us a little background of this school.
What I know about this school is that it was founded by Busoga local government of Wachabazinga, and that is way back in 1959, and it was started as a result of there was a school called Busoga College Mwiri. It was taking mainly the nobles of this country. It was a national school, so the local government decided to put up another school for the local people, the peasants. That is its origin, and since then it has educated many people. And it started as junior secondary school, and then it graduated to a senior secondary school. With the time, it graduated to an A-level school. Okay. Today, it's a fully fledged secondary school. Yes.
Beautiful. Well, being the new headmaster of this school, you must have had some kind of experiences in your time here. How long have you been here, and what has your experience been for the time you've been here as a headmaster?
I'm making 1 week here.
Oh.
The school was handed over to me. The handover was this Monday, last Monday. And so this being a Saturday is my 6th day in this school. And I would say so far so good. It is a good experience. The school, as you can see, is very good from the outlook. It is a school of 1,500 students, purely boys and boarding. It is a school which is very inclusive. It admits students from different categories of people or areas, the rich, the poor, those who are able-bodied and those who may have disabilities in one way or the other.
Okay.
It is a school which is well known for teaching sciences on top of other co-curricular and curricular activities. And what I want to say is that it's so far so good in this week.
Well, that's very good.
Yeah.
Well, now speaking of the environment, because there's a lot of greening in the school, that is key, and it's very interesting. And then also putting the infrastructure together. How is the environment of Kira College and the infrastructure inevitable for the students?
I remember I was start way back in 1989 as students here, Amanobi. We planted a forest. It's good that actually the people who came after added on another bit of the forest, a big forest. So we've been very sensitive about really greening this school. Even over the years, the administrators who have been here have been sensitive about, building and leaving some green around. So if you move around, I think we must be one of the green schools in this country.
Okay.
A forest, we have the field, we have the school is on 105 acres of land. So it has a lot of room for expansion. It has beautiful scenery on a hill. And the other side you can see so many other hills, Mwiri. You can look at the Lake Victoria. The other side you can see the Nile. Surely when you're here, you can't miss out on that good environment here.
Okay.
We have a good number of trees, I think you can see. And we have a farm.
Okay.
We are by far one of the best schools in the best standards. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, now let's get back to the infrastructure. During the annual meeting, one of the points highlighted was the construction of a new administration block. Why does the school need a new administration block?
We are talking about a 21st century student, a 21st century school. If you look at this administration block, it's not fit for purpose. You have a staff room, which is indeed very small. You have an administration block where only the head teacher sits in that administration block. The rest of the deputies are scattered and other administrators. So if you have a school where we have an open office, most of the administrators are there. You can communicate and coordinate with one another. You know, it will even have the component of a hall up there, or I mean not a hall but a library. That library can also have a component of the ICT area, you know, and you have most of the administrators. You have seen the way banks are arranged, and the manager is here, the assistant manager is here. So it will make it good for communication. Plus, having stayed for over these years, this is not the best, you know, administration block, surely. My teachers, when we have a meeting, some sit outside the staff room, in case you are going to use the staff room. So the best thing you do is to take the meeting somewhere else, maybe encroach on a laboratory or some other place. So we think, and rightly so, that a very good administration block will give this school not only a facelift, but will also enable the people to do their work, administrators and other people, very well, yes.
Yeah, like the theme stated today, the aim is for the Old Boys Association and of course the school in general to bring back the former glory that Kira College had back in the days. So as the new headmaster, what exactly are you going to do to make sure that this old glory is brought back in place?
One of the major things I'm going to do, and the moment I do that, I think most of the challenges will have been solved. And it's not only me to do it. I'm going to do this with the rest of the stakeholders in this school, and that is bring back the systems and strengthening those which are working. It is a systems kind of theory and practice that actually, if you want to put up the best administration, let there be systems. Systems on finance. How do we handle the funds in school? How do we handle administration? How do we handle discipline of the students? There should be systems which are well laid out. How do we handle grievances? How do we handle the stakeholders, the past, present, and future? How do we handle those with the present interests and those with past interests in the school? We must put systems in place. That's the major thing. The moment the systems run and we bring back, we work as a team, the school will get back to its former glory. But we have not lost it. We are still somewhere. Thank you.
Well, now bringing back and restoring that glory means also the status of the school and performance.
That's true.
In general. So generally, how is the performance of the students in the school?
When we talk about generally, I would say it's good. However, more needs to be done. When I was looking at the alumni of this school has produced some of the best brains in this country. The other day I was looking at the social media. Remember, social media is not main media, but social media brought out the most educated Ugandan in the country. Is a Nobby of this place. You know, he has not appeared here, but he's a man with over 10 degrees.
Do you care to mention?
That man, maybe I shouldn't mention him without his permission, but apparently he's the researcher. He's the researcher of UNEB, but he is the most educated Ugandan. And I know even there is an associate professor in Makerere, is one of the most educated Ugandan, plus many others. So when you look at the performance of this school, there's that background of good performance, and we have not lost it all. I believe we are going to catch up with it where we have lost. there's been a general challenge in the performance in most of the schools in Eastern Uganda. And why the alumni is coming back is to bring back that glory. When you talk about the present, we have a bit of challenges, but we shall overcome. We shall overcome those challenges. The school has been somewhere in the Busoga region. Yes, it's somewhere one of the best, but we want to go national. Okay. And we put it at the level where we can be the best.
Okay, last but not least, now there are a number of people outside there with different professions of high ranks that you would have invited as a chief guest to this particular occasion today.
Yes.
Which is the homecoming and the general meeting. Why of all people did you choose the Honorable Rebecca Kadaga as a chief guest for this particular event?
That question would have been answered very well by the chairperson of Chikoba, but to say it right, Right Honorable Rebecca Kadaga, for some time up to now and beyond, has been the mother and is still the mother of Busoga region. He's an icon. He has been a pillar not only in Busoga but also in the country. And for that reason, we feel, and rightly so, she has fought for the rights of the children, including the girl child and the boy child, and we felt she was the right person. I must be quick to mention something. This country, and indeed the rest of the world, people think about only the girl child as the only vulnerable child. The boy child is forgotten. And the Honorable Kadaga is always invited on those occasions where the girl is involved. But we're saying no, we need to make a change. We also put up the issue of the boys. And we are happy. She has promised rather to stand with us as we take back this school to its former glory, and also to fight for the land of this school and more. And we have also pledged not only to stop here, but we shall be contacting her from time to time. Okay. She's the best by far. As I wind up, yes, the school has infrastructure, some of the infrastructure challenges. If you look at these buildings, they look good. But when you go further, some areas have not been touched. That's where we need a lot of assistance. Government has been running infrastructure assistance to certain schools, including the ADB4 project, where schools like Busoga College Mwiri benefited, Iganges has benefited, and then there was the World Bank project on infrastructure development. Kira College has never come on the map, and we are saying our time is now. Okay. To appeal to government that please could you come and we talk, because this is government aided school. So I want to thank you. Okay, thank you very much, Moses. It was nice having you on the show. Thank you. Okay, well, it's very clear that the new recruited headmaster is not here to joke. He's here to bring back the former glory of Kira College Butiki. Well, we still have more conversations coming your way. Stay tuned. All right, so our next conversation is with Henry Munaba, who is the treasurer of the Old Boys Association, also an educationist. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
All right, so you are the treasurer of this beautiful association that has brought all of us here, and it's been amazing, the meeting and everything that was talked about, the spirit that all these old boys have and the love they have for their school. So as the treasurer, tell us more about your position.
To put the point straight, I'm the treasurer of Kira College Old Students Association called Chikoba. Today I've been re-elected into office for the next 3 years. As old students, we feel we are what we are because of this school. I was in this school from 1991 to 93 for my A level. Okay, and the motto of this school is discipline and hard work. This school was set up for people who are vulnerable, from poor families and backgrounds, and we feel that we must uphold that to ensure that those bright but unfortunate kids from unfortunate families can benefit from the best education in the country. Kira College Butiki has been one of the best schools in the country, specifically in the science area, and we have produced a number of professionals. I think today you have seen lawyers, professors, doctors, engineers, name it. Everything around shows that. So when you talk about Kira College Butiki, you talk about ourselves. This is our mother. All that we are doing outside there, it is this background. I've been able to organize the OBs for the to ensure that we collect the resources that we require. For instance, as all the students, we have embarked on a project of capital development, reroofing. Most of these buildings had asbestos, and we have re-roofed most of them, repainting, and today we unveiled a project for the new administration block. This administration block was built in 1984 after the strike. But as you see it, it's only the head teacher and the staff room that sit there. The rest of the other administrators are scattered all over the campus. Secondly, we feel we don't have a standard library and computer lab that fits into the school. Because like you've heard, the population is almost 1,500.
Yeah.
And it requires a very good infrastructure. The other thing, I was also part of the team. We have had a series of meetings between the ministry and the minister for East African Affairs. We had challenges when they wanted to bring a head teacher, not of our choice, our billing, and as all the students, we were given a mandate as the executive that we must tell the ministry the requirements that as all students that we feel can take this school to the next level. And when we went to meet the ministry, Permanent Secretary Minister of Education, I was part of that team, including the Prime Minister of the Soga Kingdom. And we emphatically told the Permanent Secretary that this school has never had any form of capital development from the government. Schools around, like Igangeses, Busoga College Mwiri, now Busoga High is being built, they have got enough development from the government, and we put it to the Permanent Secretary, and we are happy that when we put it to the Permanent Secretary, we also put it to the Minister of East African Affairs, the Right Honorable Rebecca Itara Kadaga. She called her counterparts, and just last week we got a message from our board representative that Chira College Boutique has been put as one of the beneficiaries of the next World Bank project that will come and renovate the infrastructure. If you went in the dormitories, these dormitories were built for 600 kids, but now they are 1,500. They are too squeezed. Okay. It means there's the demand and supply. There's demand for students to come in this school, but the supply is limited in terms of infrastructure. So we feel that government must reduce the pressure on the students and the pressure on the administration and us as all the students. We also said as all the students, let's take on the mantle of putting up the administration block, which will also reduce the pressure of accommodation, office accommodation. Okay. So that even when we come back here as all the students, we have our own boardroom where we can meet and chat to the way forward. We also must have an office here as all the students. Like I told you, I'm a director at St. Michael International School. It is what it is because of this school. And I can't promote the other school when my alma mater is declining. True. That's why you see we have been so passionate in participation of bring back the glory of this school. Okay. Yeah.
So as an old student of this school, what was your experience like back in the day?
Wow, like I told you, it was discipline. First of all, this school does not have a fence. I hope you've moved around.
Yeah.
There are cultures. The school culture is when you enter, the head teacher used to move us, that's John Richard Isabe, used to move us around the entire facility. Says this is the fence. You don't see a physical fence. You escape from here, you go to the next level, you have expelled yourself. Even going to the staff quarters was a taboo. So it was inbuilt, it was a culture that we took on, and it became part of the system. We had sub-lampers, we had the prefects, we had the class monitors, we had the house masters, and the deputy. The prefects had power to ensure that there is total discipline. And that's why you see most of us are placed in the business sector. When you go to public service, when you go to the political area, you saw here we had three MPs. The former MP, Honorable Kaluya Andrew, we had the Honorable Asman Basalira, Aga, Isabi. All those are our hobbies and very interesting. You had Professor Kakungulu Mayambala, the director of Jinja Makere University Center, and so many. Professor Winza Mukadas is also an old student, Dr. Nsimye. I can't mention so many, including myself as the director of St. Michael International School.
Of course.
And so
of course.
The upbringing only made us, and 90% of the parents in this school are old students.
Okay.
That's why you see we were able to pull off the friction between us and the ministry.
Okay.
All the parents were with us, and for your information, 80% of the board are old students of this school.
Okay.
So that makes us it puts us in the front seat of management of this institution.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your plan as the Old Boys Association is to help with the infrastructural development of the school, and of course the most important of all is the new administration block. But then as the treasurer, what processes are you following to make sure that this fundraising is put in place and mobilizing of all the old students to make sure that this project is actually successful at some point?
One thing I want to tell you is that the old students are very passionate about their school. When you look for resources, you'll even get it. Of course, we may not get the 4 or 5 billions that at a go that we envisage to put on that facility. But I can guarantee to you that in our strategic plan, we must have it. We must have it, and we are going to have it. All these homecomings are sponsored by the old students. I'm an accountable and transparent treasurer. And it has been manifested today, where even instead of electing, they just said, we need another Chisanja. That means we are accountable. All the penny, even 1 shilling is accounted for. And the students willingly contribute to all this. And it is a culture that was brought into us. Every year, in second weekend of June, we come here, we give prizes to our former teachers, longer serving. We look at something that we can take on as old students. We talk to the students continuously. We do careers guidance. We talk about discipline. We help them for placements. Even when they leave here and they go to universities, we place them for internship in other organizations and government institutions. We also help them for employment placements. So it is a part of the culture of the old students. And we just find ourselves in that career. We just find ourselves there. So it's part and parcel of us. It's like part of our social cooperative responsibility that we were taught by Johnny Xavier Richard during our days when we were in school. And we have taken it on as part and parcel of us.
That is very clear.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Henry.
Thank you
for
sister.
coming through. It's very clear that the Old Boys Association are so passionate about helping their school and, of course, lifting that glory. And yes, very interesting, the culture and the tradition. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay, I wish we all have that spirit. Well, we still have more conversations coming your way. It's interesting. And yes, I just don't want these conversations to end anytime soon. Stay tuned, stay inspired. Charles Magumba is joining me on the show, and he is the chairperson for the Old Boys Association Circle. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Why exactly did you start this circle, and what does it do?
The Shira College Boutique Old Boys Cooperative Society is an idea which came up from the executive to bring together the old boys to save their earnings. You are aware Boutique started in 1959, and as we speak today we have over 70,000 alumni. So bring together 70,000 people who have gone through this school is very important for us to mobilize them economically. So our circle was started to help old boys save their own resources with a view of having them access credit and also to support the school activities through this circle. So we came together as old boys to build this circle so that we can be in position to help each other in the near future.
Okay. Now, apart from the Old Boys Association, are there any other beneficiaries, other people that benefit from this circle?
This circle has just started, and like I've said, I'm the interim chair. I took over leadership in March this year. We started on the process of registration, which we have ably done. And as we speak today, we have over 150,000 people who have so far registered. We hope that by the end of this year, we should be heading to 500. Our aim is to bring together all old boys to save. You never know, in the near future we shall open up. Today you heard we have entered an association with Nakanyonyi Girls, Soga College Muiri, and Ginger says we shall allow those old students of those schools, if they wish so, to join us, so that we build a power base economically. We want to have money which can help us rejuvenate our own selves without going to the banks, without going to other lending agencies to get money.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for the people that are joining this circle, how are they secured? Like how secured are their finances?
Oh.
Like there are times where there are times like loss of lives and stuff like that. So
First of all, our circle is properly registered and regulated by the Cooperatives Act. Our license was issued by the Ministry of Trade. So all the procedures that are required have been followed. We are secured by law, and we don't receive cash. We don't walk around with money. All our money goes to the bank. Everybody does his savings, his account in our circle. Therefore, his money is safe. If anybody dies, if anybody wishes to pick their savings, the regulations are very clear. They will get their money. We only encourage people to join us so that we make the numbers.
okay. So when it comes to the annual meeting that you had today and this campaign of bringing back the glory of the school, how does the circle come in now to
No,
help
we have,
with this?
like I've said, we've just started.
Okay.
So we have not yet come in to support. For now, we are just giving financial literacy to the old boys. We are not supporting them financially on anything. We are giving financial literacy so that people understand and appreciate the need to save. You have heard the president all the time telling people save, come together and save, because he knows that when people save money, they will be able to support each other and do development.
All right, we still have interesting people from the Old Boys Association to chat with and, of course, learn more about this association. And yes, Rabbo Davis is joining me on the show, and he is the General Secretary for the Old Boys Association. Now, first and foremost, I'd like to ask you about your experience as a student, a former student of Kira College. What was your experience like? Were you one of the stubborn ones? What was the tradition like? What was the culture like? Have those things changed? Are they everything?
Thank you so much. My name is Davis Rabu. I am the General Secretary of the Kira College Boutique Old Boys Association, namely Chikoba. I joined Kira College Boutique as a student in 1994, and I left in 1999. But most interestingly is that my late dad was a teacher in this school from around 1980, so I got to the school when I was about a year old, and my mother is a retired licensed teacher of mathematics and submath at the school. So the school has been part of my life, and I've been part of the school since I was a young child. Yes. So when I came to this school in 1994 in senior one, I selected a dormitory. I didn't want to stay near home, so I decided to go and sleep away from home. So I slept in Cohen House, and that's the house for the academicians, that's the house for the debaters, that's the house for basically, you know, we used to call them sansulis. Okay?
Okay.
Yes.
So those slangs and slogans still exist?
Yeah, they have changed. You know, with time, the names for many of these things change, and therefore the students innovate and come with other things. Luckily enough, we still have some of those names now in our current boutique league. We have the boutique league where some of these names are like White Man FC. We used to have a Super Deep. You'd buy a few sachets, and then you take, you mix it with water, and then yes. So we used to have, we used to call it Super Deep, and now we have Super Deep FC in the boutique league. So all those names have come back in the boutique league, including the names for the jargon and the slogan of the younger old boys who are part of the boutique league.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, tell us about this tradition and culture of the fence, like having these imaginary fences. They say it's part of the culture and tradition of Kira College.
When you came to Kira College Butiki, there was the school rules and guidelines. The first thing that you were given when you got a place at Kira College Butiki were the school rules and school guidelines. Therefore, you'd come to the school having internalized these school guidelines. And you know, when you're going to a new place, you pick the guidelines and you say, does this work? Does this not work? Then you come into this environment and then you see that practically these things are what? Are working. They are at play. Therefore, the school, even up to today, the school has no fence. The school has no fence.
Cleared.
The gate that you see is just at that point. The school has no fence. But in your mind, you knew where you had to be, what you were supposed to do at what particular time, and where you had to go within the school, program. So everyone was supposed to be where the school program directed them to be. Yeah, so there was nothing like a school fence. It was in your mind.
Okay.
Of course, there were some very stubborn boys who would go over the fence.
Were you one of the stubborn boys?
Who would run over, and no, I wasn't a stubborn boy, but I remember I was.
No one admits it.
I was not really. I was a health boy. Then I was a sub-lamper in charge of still health. Then I was an assistant prefect in charge of the environment. In charge of the looking after the cleanness of the compound. Then eventually I was in charge of the dining hall, so I was a mess prefect. Strategically, I was a mess prefect.
Okay, so let's go back to your position as the General Secretary of the All Boys Association. What is your responsibility exactly? What do you do?
My responsibility as the General Secretary is to keep the record of the association. I hold the official records of the association, and in addition to writing minutes, being a signatory to the association's accounts, and all that. But basically, it's to do with record keeping of the association's workings and business. Before, I was a publicity and organizing secretary, and then I transitioned into the general secretary. I have been an executive of the association for quite long. I was a chairperson of old students at Mackay University, and one colleague just called me and said, there's an old boys meeting, show up here, you must be here. And since then, I've never held back.
Well, this whole organization or association is very interesting and unique. It's one of a kind. I mean, I have heard of many associations, I've seen many, but the commitment that you all boys have here is very interesting. It's unique. And then the cooperation that you all have is something different.
Sure.
So how do you feel to be part of this association, to be part of this league that is trying to bring back the glory that the school formerly had?
I think it starts way back. When you got into the school, there was a culture of you being equal in the class, whether you came from the urban, from Kampala, or you came from the village. Kira College Butiki gave you a platform to express yourself, a platform to excel, yourself. To be yourself. Kira College Butiki has a unique extracurricular program where we had all these games, sports and athletics, Of course, there was the academic side of it. So everyone participated. There was the drama, there was the music, dance, competitions and organized at house level. So in a way, you were always conscripted to be part of that. Now, that team spirit, that organization organically has grown to the extent that today, several years after finishing Kira College Butiki, you meet an old boy and remember how you got in year one, in your form one, in your senior one, how you remember how you used to play football, how you remember how you used to, run around the school, how you remember how you used to be very competitive amongst each other. There was always this brotherly competition at house level. So you knew who beat you at debate, you knew who beat you at football, you knew who beat you, at several of these things. So that organically creates a culture of pride, a culture of remembrance, a culture where people are able to reminisce the past and get back and laugh about this and that. Of course, there were those that were so quiet, but with time, they have also learned to be part of others, and that togetherness has still been infused within our systems. And we hope to excel, to do more with this. Yes.
Well, when it comes to some of these projects, it's not basically for their particular goals and objectives that we are in them, but there's some changes they bring to us as a person. The experiences we have, these personal growths and so much more.
Yes.
So you as a person, what would you say that this old association has brought into your life? The changes, the experiences, how has it been?
Of course, as an individual, I feel indebted to serve the association because it's the only school that I've known.
Okay.
In my secondary school, I was in only one school from S1 to S6. It's the people that have been with here as growing. I said, while you're growing, there are those bonds that you form. Many Kira College Boutique Old Boys are well placed, so you can get a service in any government ministry, in the private sector. You can go all over and you'll find a Kira College Boutique Old Boy. Now that team spirit, that recognition that you get finding that there's an old boy here and there is what concretizes or brings us together and gives us the pride that we're in the school. And I can assure you that some old boys have now become parents, that they have still brought their children to Kira College Boutique. That's why one of the things we're yearning for is discipline and hard work, which is the motto of the school, because in this world you cannot do without discipline and hard work. Okay, we want the school to retain the morale, to enforce discipline amongst the staff, to enforce discipline amongst the students. You also realize that in today's world, especially today, things are changing. You cannot have the previous way we used to handle discipline and aspects of hard work with so much competition and so much moral decay within our communities. So, as one way of reminding ourselves that this is where we came from. This is home. This is home. This is what we have practiced. This is what we have done. This is what works. Is why you see us, very active in the association activities and also giving back to our alma mater. Yes.
Well, last but not least,
yes.
If you are given a chance to change anything, culture or the tradition in Kira, because we are trying to get back to that old glory, but of course times have also changed. Times have kept changing, the school curriculums have changed, traditions in schools have changed. Is there anything you'd change, or Kira College is just as perfect as it has always been?
I think for Kira College, we need to strengthen what we had. Currently, the Ministry of Education and Sports has introduced the new curriculum. I want to believe that they should have read from Kira College Boutique's setup.
Okay.
Because we are a school that prides itself in academics, but also has a strong basis in the extracurricular activities. Kira College Boutique, because of that, every student that came into the school found their level in the school and later on in life, even at the university. So if you were doing music, dance and drama, you found yourself in the music and dance and drama department of Mackay University. If you were very good at physics and mathematics and chemistry, you found yourself, in engineering school. If you were very good at biology and the like, you found yourself in what? In medicine school. If you were very good at accounts, as the subject that you were doing, we have very powerful accountants. If you were very good at leadership, we have people in what? In leadership positions. If you were straight-jacketed and the like. These people are in the public service. So it gave everyone an opportunity to appreciate who they are and to develop the inner talent in them. And that is something that we want to inculcate in our school, to bring back to our school. Of course, with a few modifications here and there, because change is part of what? Is a fact of life. If you don't accept change, then change itself will change you. But then there is positive change and there is negative change. So we are for the positive change. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Davis.
You're most welcome.
It was nice having
Pleasure.
you. A lot to talk about. Well, it is clear that Kira College Butiki is a traditional and cultural school. And yes, it is one of those traditional schools from back in the days, and they still value these traditions and cultures, and it's not changing anytime soon. And yes, they say that they produce men of substance. And you can clearly see that they actually produce these men of substance, because many of them are successful. We have so many prominent people coming from here, ministers, doctors, lawyers, and so much more. Isn't that just enough to explain to you and tell you what Kira is made of? But yes, we still have more conversations coming your way. Stay tuned. Well, co-curricular activities are one of the basis of schools and of course the Ministry of Education in general. Now joining me here is, I could call him maybe an athlete, a footballer. Well, he will let us know more. So tell us, you're welcome to the show. Well, first introduce yourself.
I'm Okello Etik Tongololo, the publicity and organizing secretary of Chikoba.
Okay.
As a co-curricular activities, I'm still introducing myself.
No,
still.
you're not still introducing yourself, but well, you could tell us what you did back in the day. I mean, Kira College seems to be a very traditional school, cultural, and it must have participated in some of these co-curricular activities.
Oh, yes.
But of course, times have changed.
Oh, yes.
So back in the days, what were the co-curricular activities like here in Kira College?
Yeah. First and foremost, it is a tradition here that we have music, dance and drama. We have all types of games, from football, from table tennis, from volleyball and all that kind of stuff. I personally took part in all the co-curricular activities that were available. I played football, I played volleyball, and I was in the music, dance and drama group. The history of Kira College Butiki and co-curricular activities goes very deep. And there is nothing that is more proof of that than the people that we have produced into the country that are known. I'll give you a good example. Currently, we have GNL Zamba, is an old boy of Butiki. Nati Nathan is an old boy of Butiki. The man who sang Foda, I think that is some time back. For Emoto Kenkaire is an old boy of this particular place. Mose Radio, the late Mose Radio is an old boy of this place.
These are big talents we are talking about.
Yes. Batabaire Timothy, the former captain of the Uganda Cranes, is an old boy. Isaac Isinde, former captain of the Cranes, is an old boy of Kira College Butiki. So we have been producing old boys who have been doing that, and it is embedded completely and also in the culture of the school. When you come in, you are meant to take part in all these things, whether you like it or not.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what has the experience you've had as an old student of Kira College Butiki like added into your life? Like, how has it groomed you? What has it, like, everyone here seems to be successful, like there is power in this school. I don't understand.
Well, you're not wrong about being powerful and successful in the place. All of us believe in one thing: Kira College made me. Kira College made us.
Everyone is saying that.
Yes, it is in the all-round panel beating that comes up with having studied from here. But these are some of the few particular things that come out from an old boy of Kira College Butiki that you're not going to find with other places. Is one, solidarity. Solidarity. Here we are each other's, we watch each other's back, whether you like it or not. And that is one of the things that we're inculcating even in the old boys as we are here. Another thing that we had as Kira College Butiki old boys that we are still continuing on with is hard work. Hard work. Kira College started off as a school of peasants, the school of the poor man in Busoga. So all the people who come in here have that element of hard work in them. So Kira College Boutique boys are hardworking, and most of all, we are very resilient. We continue, we hit the target until one of our famous headmasters had this quote and said, never ever give up on a good thing. I feel that is one of the things that talks completely about an old boy from Kira College Boutique.
Say no more.
Thank you very much.
Say no more. We had it all. Resilient and hardworking.
And hardworking.
That is Kira College Old Boys Association for you. Right, so on set with me is Sajabi Joffre, the Vice Chairperson for Chikoba. And when I say Chikoba, that is the Old Boys Association, right?
Yes, it is.
Yes, you're welcome.
Thank you.
All right, so we have heard of Chikoba the whole day. We have had different conversations with different people, and there is so much to talk about. It's interesting, it's amazing, the hard work, and then the commitment, the love that you all have. Now let's go to why it was created and when it was created.
Thank you. So Chikoba is the Kira College Boutique Old Boys Association. It's an association that brings together all people that studied in this mighty school. So it is as old as the school itself, okay? And we're extremely proud because many of us are what we are today because of the nurturing that we got in Boutique. So for us, it is a source of pride, okay? The commitment that you see goes to show you that old boys recognize that this place had a significant impact on their life. So when we come back as old boys, it's one way of giving back, one to the school, to the community, for the years that we spent here. But most importantly, some of the old boys are now parents. So again, even as we support as old boys, we're also supporting as parents because we need the school transformed for the benefit of current generation, but also for the future generations. So this whole thing is about pride.
Okay. And you
Yes.
said it has existed for how long, right?
When I say as old as the school, this school began in the 1950s.
Oh,
So
the association began then.
association began as soon as the school was actually formed, as soon as people started exiting from the school.
Interesting.
So it is that old.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the way you talk about the school, you talk about it with so much love, and you still call it the mighty school. Well, let's first go back to the Chikoba.
Yes.
How is it structured? How are these structures organized? What are the procedures you follow when putting up the structures?
Thank you. So Chikoba has got a constitution which guides the structure, which guides the governance. Okay? So the executive of the association is governed by the constitution. All members that went through Boutique qualify as members of Chikoba. But we also have well-wishers that can be associates. So they may not necessarily have gone through Boutique, but wish Boutique, well. In terms of the structure, you've got the old students that are all members, but you've got an executive committee whose mandate is drawn from the constitution to provide leadership to the old boys, to identify projects that we can undertake as old boys. And that executive is headed by the chairperson. It's got the vice, it's got committee members, and our duty is to support the chairperson to deliver on the mandate of the executive.
Well, during the meeting, the chairperson mentioned something about producing men with substance, like
Yes.
Kira College continuing that spirit of producing men with substance. Elaborate more on this particular highlight.
Men with substance, I mean...
We may not really understand what you mean as Kira College.
I think what the chairperson meant is that the school grooms, mentors, nurtures young men ready to go and serve the nation. If you do an audit in most of the government agencies, departments, ministries, in politics, in different fields, be it the medical field, engineering, we've got prominent old boys that went through this school. So these men of substance are men that are significantly contributing to the building of this nation called Uganda. but we've also got old students that are transforming different parts of the world. Okay? So men with substance basically refers to the fact that out of the impact that you got from being a student of this school, out of the grooming and the nurturing, you can make a contribution to your nation. These men are great fathers, these men are great managers, these men are great leaders, and that is what we got from Butiki.
Okay, well, tell us the importance of these annual meetings that you have and how it has helped you as Chikoba to push for the goals and objectives that you have for the school.
Thank you. So the importance of these meetings is that, one, we get to hear from the managers of the school, the administrators, the headmaster and his team, because they are running the school on a day-to-day basis. We as old boys don't participate in running of the school. We support them. So during this meeting, we get the administrators to account to us things that they have done well, things that they are not doing well, what kind of support we can give them, and they also make commitments on things that they are going to improve. Number two, we also get to hear from the old students regarding the performance of the executive of the association. We also get to account to them. Remember that these associations are run on funds that come from the old boys. So this for us is also a platform to bring your annual report and say, guys, you gave us this amount of money, this is how we spent it, this is how we've transformed the school. So it's more of an accountability mechanism. But for many old boys, it's also just a chance to catch up. People are working in different parts of the country, different parts of the world. So for some people, this could be the only time this year that they've actually met. Today, there were people that told us they were last year 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 30 years ago. And many of them were meeting their long-lost old boys. So that brings back memories. So meetings of this nature, beyond the other formal things that we do, is also an opportunity to just catch up and remember the good old days.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, during the meeting also, the chairperson talked about something to do with the fallen schools. And he mentioned schools like Manjas High School, St. Peter's High School, Rock High School as fallen schools, and we don't want to go down that path. So does that mean that your college, Butiki, is not yet in that league of the fallen schools?
That's a nice one.
Yes, because we're trying to
now
bring back the former
I don't
glory.
even know whether I'll call them fallen schools, but the fact is that beyond the administrators of the schools that you've mentioned, education now is largely liberalized. In the past, when many of these schools were, mighty, there were no private schools. So government schools were competing against fellow government schools. Today, because the sector is liberalized, competition is stiff. You're competing with very good private schools. So for any traditional government school to stay on top, its administrators, its OBs have got to come in and participate actively. And yes, chairman is right, that Butiki might not have fallen to the level that would be, very sad about, but we don't want that to happen. We've perhaps noted signs that it's not doing as great as it was doing. So we don't want to wait for that time when it is too late. So we are standing up as old boys to say, what can we do now? What can we do today to build upon what other people have done, but above all, to gain that glory that Butiki was once known for. So yes, generally speaking, Butiki is doing well. But well is not something that we are used to. Butiki needs to do great.
Okay.
Because that is what it's meant to be doing. And we as old boys
we are
should
speaking
support that.
about not doing well. We want it to be great.
It must be great.
So now, speaking about what is killing Kira College as a school, what are some of these things killing the school that you had to come up with the association or this meeting particularly today for the glory recovery of the school? What exactly is killing the school?
So this meeting is not necessarily about, recovery and greatness. This meeting has been a tradition. Okay, whether Butiki was number one today in the country, this meeting would still have taken place. So I don't want to speak to which factors can conspire to undermine the performance of any school. And those are reasons that largely can be explained by administrators who run the school on a day-to-day. But as old boys, we felt that probably we need to also move a step higher We need to increase our involvement, our participation, our support. We need to be felt more. We need to have projects that are visible in this school that we can say that was done by old boys. So beyond the academic performance, we need to be seen to be participating. And if we participate as old boys, if we support the administrators in things like infrastructure, if we fundraise and give them money that they need to run the school well, in addition to government, you know, our effort is very small. It only complements the bigger things that government is actually doing. But you can't leave everything to government alone, okay? So we think that we also have a role to play to complement the other stakeholders, especially government, in making Butiki great. Yeah.
All right. Well, as the chairperson of Chikoba, is there anything else you'd like to say?
The other thing that I would like to say, which you must have seen earlier today, is that we believe in the power of collaboration. You saw representatives today from Busoga College, Muiri. You saw people from Wanyange. You saw people from Nakanyonyi. I think the only way you can stay great, you can be mighty, is if you support the people around you. So the only way Butiki can remain on top is if Wanyange is on top, if Nakanyonyi is on top, if Busoga College Muiri is on top. Because when your neighbors are people of greatness, that greatness eventually rubs off the people that are close. So we believe in collaboration. Our take is not just to make Butiki great. Our call is how do we make many of the traditional schools in this community, in Busoga, great. So next time when you go to Muiri and they have an AGM, most likely you'll find people from Butiki attending. You go to Wanyange, you're likely to find people. You go to Igangeses. So we believe in collaboration. The other call that we make is to all stakeholders in the school. The Minister of Education, Jinja District, the institution of the Chabazinga, and all stakeholders to come to the support of the school, to join hands with us and reconstruct and build our school. You must have seen that a lot of the infrastructure is quite old. Yeah. Many of the classrooms are quite ancient. Many of the dormitories are congested and quite ancient. Any parent would be proud if you bring your child here and you're leaving them in a great environment. So our call to, you know, the old boys, the ministry, the government, and all well-wishers is to join hands with us and we revamp this environment called Kira College Butiki.
The mighty Kira College Butiki.
Without a doubt.
There you have it, people. It has been an interesting journey, exciting to meet some of the old boys of Kira College Butiki. And yes, in the annual meeting, some of the things they highlighted is the construction of a new administration block, some dormitories, and of course the infrastructure in general. And besides that, their goal is to promote their former glory that was unbeatable. And speaking about the former glory, we are talking about the performance and status of Kira College Butiki as a school. Well, that is all we had on the Education Forum today. My name is Amuge Victoria. Until next time, bye-bye.